Demand for capacity is very, very high. Where are we going to be in 2022? We are going to try to continue to manage the chaos that the demand is creating.
What I want to do is to hear from each of our 5 panelists your views on what does 2022 hold for us, and maybe also to keep in, let's say, in the spirit of that this is not necessarily a world only of problems but also of opportunities. How will we get back to some semblance of normality, and what does that normality look like?
We are going to continue to optimize an unoptimized supply chain operation. The reason that I say that in unoptimized supply chain is purely because it's not the supply chain which is at fault. We are adjusting to an unsynchronized commerce and trade. We have a major synchronicity issue worldwide because the borders are closed. The trade is just completely out of sync. Commerce is completely out of sync. So what we are doing right now is just work with the unoptimized synchronicity. So at some stage, we need to go back and readjust our supply chain, perhaps to what we were a few years back, because there was nothing wrong with that. It's just that when we go into the backwards, we will be a lot more efficient in the sense that now, like you all mentioned, digitization is changed. What we are seeing here right now is accelerated evolutionary process. Now, let's look at how in an unsynchronized trade capacity works. The demand for capacity is very, very high. A lot of it was triggered by the PPEs and the vaccines and all that kind of stuff. Now the vaccines are still there, but it's not going to go away. And on top of this, now we're going to get the COVID pills. Molnupiravir, I believe, is what Merck has produced, and Pfizer is producing this thing. So there will be an acute demand for that. What it's going to do is create more shortage of capacity in an increasing demand market. Now, how do we manage that? In 2021, airlines were very innovative. They actually brought in passenger airplanes, and now they call them freighters. They deployed them into the market. But as the passenger traffic starts coming back, though that capacity is going to disappear. In the meantime, what is happening in passenger side of the business is that a lot of the airlines have actually downsized their size of their airplanes. So that would mean that there is going to be more pressure for cargo capacity. And as the passenger traffic gets up to speed, 55% of the cargo that actually goes on passenger airplanes, that will start going back to the availability. There is going to be quite a bit of challenge in managing the capacity, managing the routings. So at this point in time, beyond 2021, 22 and 23 and 24, I think this is going to carry on in a good way for the transportation and logistics industry, because the demand is going to be high, and it's a question of you being very agile. Efficiency comes up from digitization, so that's very, very good. Joe, you talked about the autonomous airplanes. Yes, it is very, very important that we actually look at that. It's not just autonomous airplanes, autonomous trucks, ships, everywhere, because we are going to be short of resources as we go forward. So there is going to be an acute shortage of pilots. There's already an acute shortage of drivers in Europe, US. You look at it everywhere. So where are we going to be in 2022? We are going to try to continue to manage the chaos that the demand is creating. It's all good. We are in what I would term as a high-class problem for the industry. But it is something that the focus has got to be based on how we manage that capacity, how we bring in more capacity, how efficiently can we get that more capacity in a very, very high growth market. Now, when we go out of this, what is going to be the new normal? We have to play around with the what if scenario because of the trade war. We don't know which way it's going to go, how that trade war is going to come up, how this pandemic is going to pan out. So these are all what if scenarios that we will have to work on as we go into the 2023-24. Thank you.